Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where we're going to be listening to a little bit more of LADYBABY. Now, this is a band who we've listened to a few times on this channel before, and it took me a while really. I mean, as always, I don't pre-research the artist. I listen to music from the perspective of music, I get a genuine reaction out of it, and then I enjoy encouraging you guys to get in the comments, give me your opinions, but also tell me more about the artist, because you guys will usually know much more about them than I do. Now, LADYBABY was interesting because it was just so hard to follow how complicated this story was, and then I started to realize this is not just because I'm picking it up bit by bit. This is a genuinely complicated story. I am now much more familiar with how the group has progressed. I've liked a lot of things from their standpoint. I got to admit, I was never a big fan of the Ladybeard stuff. Although, like Nippon Manju, that was a fun song, had a lot of character. Their Easter song they did as artist formerly known as LADYBABY, that also had some really interesting writing. Then subsequently, we heard a couple of the songs they did as like a 4 or 5 piece group. And that to me was their best time in their career. Yes, it might not be the most individual, but I felt just everything clicked. They were getting a unique sound, but they were mixing it with being really good musically. It was just great stuff. And I like the voices. They had a nice choice of girls in the group. It just was kind of working for me. So anyway, I then found out recently that apparently as of the beginning of next year, they're going on an extended, possibly permanent hiatus. Maybe they're just going to reinvent themselves again and come back. But I don't know if it's just like a running joke now, but there has been a lot of comments that some people genuinely believe they are kind of quitting the whole thing now, and that it's hard to know what sort of reiteration of this is going to come back. So I feel a little bit sad listening to this now, but it is a song by that final iteration as far as I'm aware of the band. It's a 6-minute 30 video, so I better get into this relatively quickly. It's a song called Bite Me, which is very much in character for them. I always sort of say with these songs, I don't want a song to genuinely sort of just be aimed at annoying the listener, but hopefully if it's just a song with attitude, then that's kind of cool. But anyway, this is Bite Me by LADYBABY. I don't know what to expect. So many of the songs are so different, but just kind of hoping it's something I can get into and it will be an enjoyable addition to this catalogue of, I think, like 4 or 5 songs we've listened to now so far. Sleepy time. Is there supposed to be sound? Oh, there we go. I like that chord pattern, sort of after the heavy riff going for like a real major driven chord pattern, fun anime style melody. Kind of feels like a pop rock song at the moment, but in a really good way. Okay, there's your switch up. It had to get dark at some point. I like the tempo switch up, that was nicely handled though. Sounding almost like an omnibus now. It's very well structured. It almost has a sort of passcode element of being easy to follow and yet deliberately kind of trying to play you in a sort of surprise. That sort of double time thing's a really nice change. Kind of keeps the mood the same and yet sort of intensifies it at the same time. There's still 3 minutes left. The lyrics at the side literally coming up as mugga 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 mugga. Okay, where are we going to go with this? Okay, guitar solo. Okay, I'm starting to understand the lyrics and they're disturbing me. Yeah, I understand the lyrics now. I don't know if the screamo bit's really working, but it's playing to that insane tone that they want. 20 seconds left, and I think it's just going to be them in hysterics for the best part. So it seems we're supposed to be taking the term "bite me" a little bit more literally than I think you normally would. There we go, lady baby. All right. I'm not going to pretend to know more about lyrics than I usually do. I mean, to be honest, when it comes to listening to Japanese, my hearing is quite slow. But when I can read Japanese relatively quickly, and so when the lyrics started appearing up the side in a mixture of English and Japanese, I was like, okay. But I'm not going to delve into lyrics because I don't know 100% what's going on there, but it does seem that they're taking the term "bite me" about as literally as you possibly can. So let's talk about the music though. There is a lot to unpack here, probably more than I realistically can. I think we have to register the fact, first of all, this song is longer than Bohemian Rhapsody. This is a long song, pretty sure also longer than American Pie. This is a real long one. It did play out pretty much that entire 6.5 minutes. Was it a good use of that time? For the best part, actually, yes. I think it moved quite well. There was a lot of different elements. It had the sort of hard riff bit, which seemed to play as the intro and the post-chorus, and that's kind of what turned everything around. They had a verse, which I really like the verse, like I say, that played off as a sort of a pop rock thing, you know, sort of simple major chords, Simple chord progressions, a really catchy melody. It was something you could just rock along to in the same way you would like a Blink-182 song or something. It's just that sort of simple but likable melodic phase. And then it goes into the chorus, which what I would assume to be the chorus, which is where it double times the beat and everything builds up, but it still maintains that feeling of having a slightly pop rock melody and a pop rock chord pattern. Pop rock chord pattern. So there was, for the best part, this felt like a pop rock song, just with that crazy heavy bit in between occasionally. Which, they have a history of doing heavy stuff, so that plays into that fine. In the context of this song, it works as a nice variation to break things up. It was interesting how most of the phases of the song were accented and changed between with a sort of a moment of silence or some sort of clear break. That does work in each individual bit, but I think over the course of the song, there's probably too many breaks and too many stops overall, so it is hard to maintain the full energy, although I can imagine that working really well live because they could play each one off as a thing. But I think when listening to an actual recorded song that has that many stop-starts in it, it can be a little bit jarring, especially over the course of 6.5 minutes. But, that's a small criticism. I like the vocal delivery as always. It was nice and sort of cutesy, as you expect from their stuff. They have that balance, as is so common in so many bands now in Japan, of cutesy meets rock. However, they do have a sort of inherent power to their voices. I really like this, as I like with the last couple I listened to, the fact that their voices still come across nice and clearly and powerfully, and that really shows. So this was a good, entertaining song in every important way. Like I say, I can imagine that being a real barnstormer live. It just kind of had a good feel to it. Criticisms-wise, like I say, is mainly the fact that it was a little bit too stop-starting, although they did play that. There was the sort of weird little things and stuff like that, which played into the context of the song as well, I now see. The guitar solo thing towards the end did seem, it was cool, but it seemed a little bit unnecessary. I'll be honest with you, actually, I think you could have shaved quite a lot of the last half of the song away. You had two repeats of that rather significant thing, and basically everything up to the guitar solo was fine, but I think the guitar solo onwards, it was like, okay, it's entertaining enough that you can do this again, but I didn't really feel that they needed to do it again. I didn't need to go around a second time and a third time, in my opinion. And that bit at the end with the final riff and the sort of shouted, chanted bit, that's all fine. I don't think that the screamo bit really worked. I think it was one of their songs I heard recently, it did kind of work in. One I did a review of not so long ago. It kind of worked, but in this one, it didn't work. I almost felt like they were maybe trying deliberately to counter against the fact that this song was a bit fluffier than normal, and they were trying to counter against that. It didn't really come off as fitting. It worked in a sort of crazy way that when you hear it with the video and when you hear it the first time, you go, oh, it's kind of funny. You're sort of going mental right at the end and throwing everything out the window. But I think on repeat lessons, that bit would start to get annoying. Once the shock value of, oh, what are you doing, has worn away and you're just listening to the song. Like I say, by that point, it's starting to wear thin on its expected runtime, and it's throwing in something which is a little bit galling to the ear. I know it's all done for fun and effect, but it just kind of feels like they were slightly running out of ammunition at the end. So 6.5 minutes on a first listen, yeah, fine. I think that actually the runtime would probably be the main thing that would put me off listening to this song more regularly. Like I say, if it stopped after the second, if it just did one time round, two times round, finished, I think I'd be fine. But really everything from the guitar solo onwards, starting to feel a little bit surplus to requirement. So basically, yeah, this does highlight again, and I am sad that they're going. If they're going, I'm really sad about that, because they have finally hit this real stride. The songs I've listened to of this iteration of LADYBABY have been really the first time that they've always shown sort of signs of promise and things, and signs of having fun, different attitude. And they're not like just another baby metal, despite the sort of surprisingly similar names that you get with a lot of these groups. They're not just another baby metal. They really do have something quite unique and rebellious and more sort of scatterbrained and almost punkish about what they do. Although they are coming from a similar idea of fusing these two rock and cutesy pop things, they're approaching it a different way. And just recently, like in this 4-girl iteration, it's really worked, and it's been kind of fun. It's not always been perfect, but it's reminded me of things that I really enjoy, like Bish, where I've said before, with Bish, there's some songs by theirs where I go, I don't think I'm ever going to listen to this again. But when they work, which is most of the time, it's really brilliant and it's really engaging. And that's the point. This is engaging on both a musical and pop level. You know, it's got that sort of pop fun to it, but it's musically engaging as well. It's the sort of song where the song is actually interesting and keeps you going on its own merits. So I personally would listen to this again, although, like I say, the runtime does slightly put me off. But tell me what you think. As always, tell me what you think about the band as well. Do you know more about what's going on? You guys know more about the artists often than I do. I've never really read up much about the artists, and this it sort of just comes up a lot on my news feed. So get in there, tell me more about the artists, tell me about what's going on. Are they sticking around? Are they coming back in a different form? Do you know more? Tell me what you think about the song. Of course, I can give an educated opinion, but let's be honest, music is all subjective. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. So please, by all means, tell me what you think about this as well. But for now, from Japan, thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll be checking out more LADYBABY soon. Hopefully. Ciao, ciao. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out more of our hundreds of videos we got online on this channel right now, or get involved in the discussion with us at the many social media links we've got in the description below, where you can suggest new videos and artists for us to check out on the channel. Or you can just do the usual YouTube stuff and comment, like, subscribe. You know how this works by now.